Hello, my name is Father Jacob Rouse, and I'm the pastor of Notre Dame Parish in Cresco, Iowa. For today's Chrono Minute, I would like to remind you that my last video I made was trying to help you beat boredom in Mass, and that is to count how many times the word Jesus is spoken during the liturgy. Feel free to do that with any other word. Listen how many times the bells are rung. Are there bells rung? How many times is the Holy Spirit said, or how many times is "and with your spirit" said? Focus on those little things, and that'll just help you stay mentally awake and maybe physically awake during Mass. Another thing I'm going on this same topic, but if I was to tell you that Citizen Kane by Orson Welles is objectively one of the greatest films ever made, and then you went to go watch it, you'd probably say, "What was that? I didn't really understand that, or I didn't like it as much. It was pretty good, but..." Or if I was to tell you that Bob Dylan is my favorite musical artist and lyricist ever, and you went right away to listen, you'd say, "No way, I'm not doing that." So the context is important to understand. With the liturgy, with the Eucharist, with Mass itself, Vatican II calls the Eucharist the source and summit of our faith. So it's pretty great. It's the best and the biggest thing, but understand that you might not be coming at it with the right context, and that's what I want to help to do, is make Mass more understandable and understand what we're doing. But that's a whole education we can get in another time. Once again, if you have questions, always email me. But what I'd like to also, going off the counting Jesus times, is journaling. I think it was Matthew Kelly one time, or other people have suggested this. Bring a Mass journal, just a notebook or pen and paper to Mass, or even don't write it on the bulletin because you'll throw that away later or lose it. But keep everything in one little book and write down something that strikes you. Start off going every single weekend, or watching it every single weekend. What is one thing that grabs you? Either a phrase in the scriptures, a phrase in the Eucharistic prayer, or something the priest says, or maybe it's the way the lector bows before they go up to the altar. Pick and just expect only one thing, write it down, and then once you have your one thing, then go next week and find another thing. You can write down questions, you can write down thoughts that come to you, write down homily notes, or if you're thinking about lunch, or something distracts you, "Oh, I thought of something, my mind wandered, I'm going to write it down," and then just forget about it. So it's not a sin, and there's nothing wrong with bringing a little journal to Mass. I did it for a while. This is, I like this brand, Moleskine or Moleskine. I buy them at Target, and I only say the brand name because I tried like those dollar ones you get at Walmart, and it just broke in my pocket and got wet and dirty and everything, because I carry this around every single where I go, so I'm always writing things down. Homily notes, people's phone numbers, whatever. And then this one is my prayer journal. So I'm not saying you need to start a prayer journal, but it is okay. I love it when I see people's eyes not down because they're sleeping during my homily, but because they're writing something down. And it's not because I say a lot of great things and I want them to quote me, but because people are thinking, chewing, and digesting and taking it with them into their week. That's the whole point of Mass, is to come to it and to let everything in your week flow from it. So count the times Jesus is said in Mass, pick something else to count or look for, and you will eventually get to the point of being able to appreciate that it is the source and summit, just like Citizen Kane is one of the greatest movies ever made, and maybe you'll see someday that Bob Dylan is my favorite musical artist. Okay, before you go to Mass, though, make sure you wash your hands.